I don't think you guys realize how serious I think this Fernando Tatis Jr. situation is. I know that I did the alert last night, but I think it's just worth diving a little bit deeper into those minor league numbers. It's going to take me a second as I pull up my fan graphs. And it's worth looking at because then we can talk about how to get in and get into those minor league numbers. So I jumped in that auction, and it was for what I thought was Wednesday at 1 a.m. But on Tuesday, if you say Wednesday at 1 a.m., I thought that's Thursday. That happened to be last night, immediately after I talked to Tatis. So I got into the very last auction at 1 a.m., dropped that. I'm gonna go over the results. That was the last day. That was the last auction. I think I'm at my Yahoo, my 16 max. I'm not gonna have any more teams. There's not time to do drafts. I don't want to do drafts after the season starts. I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like waiting a week and then doing another one. But I do have a little bit of kind of closing comments on auctions. I tried to get cute, put a team together, just wild out, tried to make myself happy with one final team of studs. And with the coverage of auction drafts out there being so scarce, I figured it'd be nice to just reflect and give you some final thoughts. Let me just drop the team first and what happened to me. So I'm going in natural. I mentioned a little bit of a plan. I said all value, but when the money's flying, all value to me still means get stud players. And so, I fall back into that. I don't know. I can't see $11 players. I need to have some superstars. Baseball, there's a lot of averageness, and I need guys that are just on another tier. So, Ronald Acuna Jr. went for just 41. I mean, that's a sale. I didn't want to do it. If they had brought me to 45, maybe I would have stopped, but I took it there. Given the news, I was like, you know what? Let me just do this early. I want to build around this, see what kind of problem it caused me. I popped the Fernando Tatis Jr. Is this a mistake? Is this too early? Should I have undercut this by nominating some other shortstops and wearing it down? It was the 30th pick. I think some shortstops have got battled all the way up to $20. I wasn't coming off it. I'm relentless. I just treated him like the next superstar that I want. Get him for 20. I'm going to give him full-time at-bats at the shortstop position on this team. I named the team after Juan Soto. Soto deep. So I pick up Juan Soto for 26. Seems like a sale. And I'm going to make sure I get guys I love. I'm going to talk about Chris Paddock. Chris Paddock, nominate and deliver $11. I'll take that there. Eloy Jimenez, he got officially called up, so he's up. He's starting lineup. Get him in all your lineups. 23, not much. And then this is where I looked at my team, and I was like, oh, man, I can fill this team out. And this is where the turning point, I could have started going for value. $8 players, 10, just wait. But I treat myself to some Cody Bellinger for 22, 23. I think that's worth it. I just one piece of Bellinger, just in case. I know, between Hoskins and him, we're not sure. Get some Cody, and I need a second baseman, so it's going to be Adalberto Mondesi. It's obvious that my whole season rides on Adalberto, so it's worth making a big prediction on that. Make my bold prediction would be Adalberto out home running and stealing Trey Turner, and I'm just looking for Turner light. Maybe more power. Let's see the home run race between those two guys. If you have both of them, production. So, God, I went next. I'm just convinced with Vlad. So it was Vlad Jr., 23. Cody Bellinger, Adalberto. And then this is the mistake. I don't know. It was late. I was wearing down. This is why an auction really takes stamina. A game plan throughout, really paying attention, being on the ball. Jesus Aguilar. We're building the utility position. I like that Bellinger. I've got that little bit of movement from him. If you draft, let's just segue into multi-position because I was thinking about this. Last season, I overdid it with multi-position eligibility. I was like, multi-position, that's all I wanted. Guys that played all over the place, I really bumped them up. But they're not better hitters because of moving around. So what I learned is I overdid it. You don't need tons of multi-position. You just need a little bit. That allows you to get a guy in off the bench. It allows you to, on a rest day, get an extra at bat. One or two, not a lot. A lot of the other issue I was having is just being too deep and having too much talent and having bats on the bench, and that drive you crazy because they're hitting, and who do you get in, and you start to chase. That can be frustrating. So, back to Aguilar, it falls off the cliff. It falls off the cliff, and I start just getting things for free. The other mistake is I left with cash, boys. I left with cash. I got to go out. I got myself some pizza and wings. But I'm going to kind of debate how this happened in one particular move. So it's Herman Marquez is the last real ace. I'm at maybe $52 and somebody else is at like $40. And he has more players. So because he doesn't have that many players to buy, he still has a fairly big sword. And we're in this final juggernaut push around. Because that's a nice number to save is $30 to $40 because you can still make somebody go to 20 and not be constrained by your max bid. And so with the max bid and he's going up and we're at, I should only be buying $4 players. I only want $4 to $6 players, maybe an 8. And we're up with Marquez at 15, 18. It's a bad expense at that point. It's going to be a bad price to pay. I do want it, but it's starting to get to where it's cost prohibitive to me. Like, that's going to put me at $2 players. I probably could have done it because I ended up getting mostly $2 players. But what happened was I put that burden on him and got off at 18. And it kind of crippled him. It was the last I heard of him. It was the last I heard. His max bid was like a 5 or a 6 or a 4. He couldn't do anything to me with it. I think I just took Reyes from him for 6. That's interesting. So with that big stack and with leaving, I guess I'm trying to make myself feel better for having to go out and get pizza and wings after the draft with $29 out of the auction. Oh my God. You're telling me I could have had Trevor Bauer, but it doesn't exactly work like that. The leverage got pushed around, but it has to. We eroded so much money. Listen to the free stuff that I get out of this auction. Rafael Devers for $3. Luis Castillo for 2. Archer for 2. Leclerc for 2. Hampson for 2. Iglesias for 2. Alex Reyes for 6. Yon Moncada for 2. Glasnow for 2. Mejia for 2. Kikuchi for 2. Alvarado for 2. Hicks for 2, Julio Urias. And one clarification, I'm getting the Uriases confused. I said Julio Urias yesterday. I meant the Urias that's at the Dodgers that plays second base. He's the one that got sent down to AAA, not Julio. So that's the auction there. The team, I don't know. It's flashy. I call it the triple bacon junior burger, where you got the Vlad Jr. with the Tatis Jr. with the Acuna Jr. Baseball is back. Get excited. I almost thought today was opening day and almost lost it. So baseball's one day away. Start thinking about your lineups. Look at those last second move-arounds. Oh yeah, third base, Jung-Ho Kang. If that he can perfectly replace Vlad. If the Senzel thing fell apart, Jung-Ho Kang has swept in here to save the day. He makes enough contact, there's enough power that he can fill in there for a few weeks with upside. But let me just say these auction feelings. You're getting no coverage out there. Let's really try to push the bar a little bit and get a little bit better at our auction understanding. When you're nominating stuff, you're giving the auction ideas about what to nominate or what to do. So be careful with that. Be careful with giving them an idea because there's a lot of different nomination strategies. And when you put one into the draft, people might stick with that. You give them an idea, are they going to stick with that? Are they going to learn from that? Oh, he's doing that. So, hey, I'll try that. You nominate a mid-level closer and he goes for overvalued. Hey, I'll try that. And now you're causing that to happen. Is that the effect you wanted? Is that the idea you wanted to put into the auction? Or I bought a big outfield, and then I decided to like keep pounding, just nominating outfield because I had Acuna and Soto and Eloy. So here, you guys catch up. Hey, oh, let's do that. Oh, let's do that. The whole room's saying let's do that, and they're just not doing it to closers because you didn't give it that idea. There's the obvious basic nomination. Guys are just like injured, injured Kershaw, Severino, but I questioned, but upside. Sev stayed on the board, and I think he only went for like $6, something cheap because nobody nominated him. The bots didn't do it. There's trash, oh, I think this guy's trash. Throw him in there. Old. You can be old on a guy. He's just old or down. Old price. But these aren't, now you're, but think more about position. You could nominate outfield. Do you want to nominate outfield up full, high value? Or nominate mid-tier? Nominate, Brantley or sleep things through. SP nomination. Do you do it at all? Do you want to leave those? Keep that rich so that guys do it late, and then the very bottom guys stay off of SP. That's my final conclusion. Stay off of SP. Don't give guys the idea to nominate SP. It's already expensive. We want to get it late. We want to get hitting. Don't nominate it. Leave stuff there for guys. Don't do the Grinky right away. I'm kind of buying early just so that I can control myself, so I can show myself I have some aces. Otherwise, I'll just buy hitters because of my love for hitters. It'll just be more and more bats and more bats over and over again. But SP, so I'm looking at these ways. Cheap, I can nominate cheap. It was like Wheeler, Marquez, and then pay, but then you pay up. Bauer, cheap-ish because he's so good. Ace early, and then I'm calling it Sleeper 1, which I didn't hear. Just Paddock, ace. Paddock's my ace. What, Sleeper 1? But is Sleeper 1 too expensive? Early, I made him go for 8. If I didn't touch it, would he have been a 2? Because it would have been so late. So, I make another mistake there with Sleeper 1. So, if anything, it's not going deep enough into the draft when I look at this squad. But then are those stars? Acuna, Tatis, Soto, Paddock, Eloy, Vlad, Cody, Mondesi, and Aguilar. Is that 8 studs? We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how the scouting goes. Do you nominate RP? So we just want a bottom feed at RP with like Hicks and Givens and Colome, and so do we even want to nominate them? Do you want to nominate high? Well, we'd like to get some high, but we're not. Maybe if we waited, so maybe don't nominate that. Leave that there. Nominate mid? No, because we don't really want to thin it out. So I'm just not putting that idea into the draft. Do that less. If you need a general code for how to just nominate at different times in the draft, taking everything into consideration, the bad buy. What would be a bad buy here? Money, money's gotten tight. Bad buy here would be like really expensive outfielder that's not that good. The bad buy. Right here, how about you pay up for catcher? Open the game up for mid-level catcher. I don't know. But then people start pounding catcher, and then what? You get some pressure on there. Maybe you wanted Contreras once. The chunk bet, the little jump bet in the auction, I think sometimes you have to do it when it's your maximum and that's your last number. That might be because if you go over, you're going to not have money to live late. But the chunk bet, if 15, 20. I'm going to 20. You take it for one more. And it's a way to kind of, you can over extract. You can chunk bet. You might have to chunk bet to get your player. Don't chunk bet and think you have to stop. So if you chunk bet, you might have to go again. Chunk bet, it didn't scare him off. Go again. But it could slow him down. Chunk bet, double chunk bet. It's got to be thought about. Middle infielder. His nomination, own and pound. Get a shortstop, nominate more shortstops. Do you want to do that? Do you leave that position alone? Is there outfield scarcity? If you want three number one outfielders or you want number ones in all your positions, then there's scarcity. What's a number three to you? And then I do care about speed. I realize I do. I do like speed. I like a lot of power, and then it's speed. So I just want those two things. Some speed comes in the outfield, but I need power in the outfield. I like speed in the middle infield. Just some thoughts on you guys tightening up your teams on auction drafts. So in the end, it's hard to stay disciplined to say you're just going to get value. You can't really think about how to control auction nomination. You got to be experimental. The other thing I was realizing was the amount of money on the nomination. Guys might see, oh, you're nominating really close to the average bid, so we don't have a lot to go. That would work. The biggest problem I was having was he's nominating the guy he wants and he's buying it. Oh, I'm not going to let him do that, so I'm getting bid up defensively. So you kind of have to throw that off. You have to distract. You got to just mix it up of what you're doing. Were you going for that guy or were you not? Just to kind of get guys off of you. You know, don't try to figure out when I'm bidding, when I'm not. Bid it some other time so your hand isn't so transparent. And then what happened after that was guys were doing it too. They were like, he's just going to put a mid-level guy. The computer won't run him up. And they're going and getting what they want. So at the same time that you're getting what you want, there's teams putting together teams getting what they want. You know, I saw a high-end player. I wasn't bidding up players. He's got like JD, Yelich, Turner. I mean, he's got a lot of studs. Probably two other studs in there. Will my team be deeper? Do I have enough upside? It's yet to be seen, but get ready. Tomorrow is opening day. Tomorrow is effing opening day. Everyone goes. Everyone goes. Finally, some real games. Goodness.